Well, hey folks, and welcome to Solarcabin channel. I've got what I think is going to be a fun video for you. It just happens to be that today has been, the last couple of days, it's been really cloudy. It's been kind of raining at my place. It's getting early fall here, and so our weather's starting to change. And the result is I'm not getting great sunlight at my place. And as you know, I live off-grid. Been off-grid now for 20 years with just a small solar power system. My system's only 400 watts. And so on days like this happens quite frequently, especially in wintertime. I may get 3 or 4 days we don't have really great sunlight. And the result is my batteries start to get drained down. And if I go long enough, then I have to start unplugging things. At least I have in the past. I've had to start unplugging things around my house to reduce how much power I'm using. And a lot of times I'll get down to where I just have my refrigerator plugged in because, you know, I've just drained my batteries so far down that I don't dare run anything else. And I got to keep the fridge running so that I can have power. Well, that's part of the reason that I got this unit right here this year. This is the Generark Portable Power Station. This is the 1000-watt model. It has a 1000-watt inverter and also has DC and USB plugs. And it can power everything in my cabin for about 3 to 4 days. It'll run everything, all my appliances and everything like that for about 3 to 4 days that I use regularly here at the cabin. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about is what would happen though if I lived on grid, you know, if I was in a grid home and I had a complete power blackout and I couldn't cook a meal or something like that. Now here at my cabin, I use propane and I also have a wood stove backup. So I have alternatives that I could use and I can cook a meal even if, you know, if I don't have good sunlight, I can still cook a meal. I also have a solar oven, which I'll show you a picture of here. That I could use on bright sunny days. I could actually cook a meal out in my solar oven. But on days like this where I'm not getting very good sunlight, if I didn't have propane or I didn't have a wood stove, how would I cook a meal? You know, and my food and that would probably be spoiling in my fridge. So that's where this unit, I think, comes in very handy. Can also be used for camping if you want to be using it to prepare a meal instead of like using a barbecue. And a lot of places now, if you go up camping someplace, a lot of places don't allow you to have an open fire of any kind. So you're not able to cook. And, you know, for good reason. We've had so many forest fires and things that the Forest Service and the governments are really concerned about setting off these massive forest fires and burning people's houses down. So they've completely stopped open burning when you're camping. You may still be able to use a propane barbecue or something like that. Now, that is something that I also recommend that people have around for a blackout because if nothing else, you can always cook a meal or at least cook meat and vegetables and stuff on a portable barbecue, a propane barbecue. Just don't ever use the barbecue inside your house, okay? Because they put off carbon monoxide, a deadly poison. You could end up not waking up after using one of those, especially if you're trying to use it to either cook or to warm your place up. They're not designed for that. Use them outside. Okay, that's where the Generark can come in. It's a lot safer. You don't need propane. You can use it. Now, I just recharged this unit up because I've been using it for testing. As you see, I did testing using my power tools. I ran my weed eater off of it, my chainsaw off of it, my skill saw and a vacuum and a whole bunch of other tools. I even ran my microwave oven off of it, and I showed you that it would run my microwave and my small toaster oven and my coffee pot maker, and it runs my Alpacool C20 fridge, which I've shown you. It runs those great. But today I wanted to show you how you could also just prepare a meal if you need to. And if you have a family or you're just by yourself and you have a blackout situation or you're camping and you want to prepare a meal, then there's some appliances that I would recommend that go along with this. You may already have some of these appliances because they're pretty common appliances. The appliances that I recommend is like this George Foreman cooker. These are really nice, and I've already tried this once. I'll show you here how it works. These George Foreman cookers, they run about, I think about 700 watts. I'll plug it in and show you exactly. And this will cook up a hamburger patty or a sandwich, a chicken patty, or any type of meat. It'll even cook a steak if you want to in one of these. And it's designed so it runs the grease off so you don't get all the grease in here. So this will cook up meats of any type. The other thing that I really recommend is these sandwich makers. And a lot of people might have it. This is made by Kitchen Selected, but you can get them. There are all kinds of brands out here. And this is a really neat unit because it has a space inside it for making 2 sandwiches. And what you do is you can layer this, any type of meat, sandwich meat or anything like that, or leftovers, whatever you have, vegetables and whatever you're going to put in your sandwich. You can put it in there and clamp this down. It actually has enough room in it to make 2 what they call those panini sandwiches. And this will also run off of this unit. So that's what I'm going to show you here, and I'll also show you some 12-volt appliances that can be run off this appliance for cooking. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a hamburger in this thing right here. Now the thing you need to remember is this is only 1,000 watts. It does have up to 2,000 watt surge, but it's a 1,000 watt inverter. So you don't want to run a bunch of these appliances all at the same time, but you can run one of these appliances, and generally like this cooker here, the George Foreman, in about 10 minutes it'll completely cook a hamburger, a thick hamburger patty all the way through. Even less time if it's thinner meat. You want to make sure, if possible, that you unthaw any meat that you're cooking before you put it in. That's the best way to do it. Anything that you're going to use in these, unthaw them first and then cook them. They'll take a lot less time to cook in these small appliances like this. And so just remember that they need to be under 1,000 watts. Now this unit runs about 700 watts, so you can't run this and this at the same time, but you can run one of these appliances and cook up a meal. And you could do this, it might take a little bit longer, but you could cook up an entire meal for your family using just these small appliances. So let's go ahead and put a hamburger in this appliance right here, and we'll get it started and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so I've got this beef patty, which I actually bought at the dollar store to try out. Because have you noticed how expensive meat is these days? So I decided I'll try this, and it's made in the USA, quick serve extra value meats. It came with 2 quarter-pound patties. So I'm going to put one of these patties in, and I actually tried one, and they're pretty good, even though they're only a 50-cent hamburger. We'll put one in. Now this is the George Foreman again, and you just want to put your hamburger in. Usually when it's already unthawed would be the best way, and then it has this little drip catcher here. Put that underneath it. Close that down like that. And then just plug it in to the Generark over here. Make sure you get in the right slots. Plug that into the Generark, and it will come in, turn on the AC, and orange light come on to show that it's working. And I'm at 100%. We'll see how much it drains down. It says that this is using 600, right around 650 watts. Okay? This unit's using right around 650 watts in order to cook that hamburger. Now this would cook a good-sized piece of chicken or a steak or any type of meat or anything like that would cook up really fast in one of these. And I'll let this go. Now I should tell you that this varies the amount of power that it uses. So it will run for a while, and then it shuts down, stops for a few minutes, and then it starts again, and it kind of slow cooks it. That way it doesn't burn the meat. So just you're aware, that's just for this George Foreman. I don't know if the others all do that or not, but that's the way this George Foreman works. All right, so I'm going to let this cook now, and it usually takes about 5 minutes or so before I check it and make sure, and then I might want to, do something with it, flip it or something like that, or move it around and make sure that's cooking, but that's all you need to do is just put the hamburger in there. Okay, I don't think that even took 3 minutes because this was already unthawed in my fridge, and it is already really crispy. I'm just going to flip it over, and the burger kind of fell apart in the middle, but that's all right. It'll still work. Just to kind of show you, if I can, see how crispy it is on that side? I'm just going to kind of flip it over. Yeah, and it's already got the nice grill marks, just like the professional hamburger places. It's already got the grill marks in, and it's getting really cooked. I'm going to give it probably just a couple of minutes, or maybe even a minute to cook up. So that about 5 minutes, I would say, would easily cook up a hamburger on one of this. Let's see where we're at on power-wise. I've used about 4% of the power, okay? So if you figure, 5% of the power in order to cook a meal, you could cook a whole lot of meals using this unit at 650 watts off of one of these Generarks. So that's what we're after. I'm going to give this another minute, and then I'll put it on a plate, and we'll try the sandwich maker. Okay, so here you can see the hamburger that was cooked in that using the Generark. It has that nice grill look to it. Okay, it's very cooked all the way through, and it does a great job, and it cooked it in less than 5 minutes. I think it was probably around 3.5, 4 minutes is all it took. I should have timed it, but I didn't. But it used, let's see, it used 5% on the Generark. So you could conceivably cook this 20 times on this unit without running it all the way down. So you can cook a lot of meals, is what I'm saying. You know, if you run one of these and you cook one meal a day using this system here, you could cook for an entire family. Run this like 3 or 4 times a day. You're still going to cook for an entire family. It's going to last you, you know, 3 or 4 days for cooking. So it will work for that. On these George Foreman's, again, like I said, only thing you want to remember is they do shut off and then turn back on. And they have this little grease cup. So you want to make sure you put this grease cup underneath the front of them to catch the grease, okay? And they do a really nice job of cooking up the hamburgers. So next we're going to do a sandwich. Okay, so the George Foreman grill works perfectly. Works less than under 700 watts. We'll cook up a hamburger. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to try this pan sandwich maker, okay? And I just got some, I don't have any sliced bread in my house. I'm out. But I do have some ham. And I've got some cheese. I'm just going to put a quick sandwich here together. So I got a slice of ham. And I got a slice of cheese. And you can do whatever kind of sandwich you make. Do a slice of cheese on here. And we're going to put that in the sandwich maker here. This would probably work better with sliced bread because then you would have the nice stripes on the top of it. But you'll understand how it works when I get done here. Open that up. Now you actually have enough room in here to make 2 of these sandwiches. On regular bread, I'm just going to do 1 sandwich. Pull that in there, and then you want to use the clamp and clamp it down. That pushes the sandwich. It squishes the sandwich together so it'll cook top and bottom at the same time. And then we'll just plug that in here. Into the Generark again. Make sure we get the slots right. And it came right on, the light's on, and we'll see how many watts that uses. And again, it's about 650, 600, yeah, right around 660, maybe a little bit more. This one might go a little higher. Okay, it looks like it's going to hold right around 660 watts while it's cooking this. We'll see how long this takes. I'm pretty sure, I haven't used this in a while, but if I remember right, this shuts off automatically, so I don't have to do anything. I can just turn it on. Now, the only thing, while I'm cooking this, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. One thing, don't let your kids use these. They get hot, okay? Especially underneath them. If they go grab them underneath them, they're going to burn their little hands. You be real careful and wear that too. You know, use an oven mitt or something when you're handling these. But these little units like this you can pick up, especially at Christmas time, which is coming up. You can get little units like these sandwich makers and like that for like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, okay? So even if you don't use one all the time, keep one around, because if you have a blackout and you have one of these Generarks or one of the other portable power stations, they're great. You can also take these camping, folks. You can take your Generark along, and you can take one of these units along for cooking sandwiches for your kids when you're camping and stuff like that, because they're always hungry. And generally, they take less than 5 minutes. They don't use very much power from your Generark, so you're still going to have lots of power later. And you can recharge your Generark from your vehicle, or you can recharge it from solar panels. I got 200 watts worth of solar panels that came with the unit. That I can recharge it from, or I just recharge it from my 400 watt system whenever the sun is shining, which it isn't shining very bright today, but whenever the sun's shining, I'm charging this up. Now, some other appliances. I won't cook with these today, but I will show you. This is called a lunchbox oven, this is made by Road Pro, and you can get these. You can see it has and what it does is it has a element in the bottom here that hooks it up, and then these are all insulated, really well insulated. So you can put stuff like burritos and other stuff in there and put one of these up. Now, these do work, and they work off of 12 volt instead of 110. It has a 12 volt plug that's installed in it. Hold this up here. The latch came off. Okay. Hold this up here. So this has a 12 volt cord inside this little latch over here. That'll go into the 12 volt plug. Now, my experience with these is they do work. I don't think they work as well as the 110 appliances. I think the 110 appliances work a little bit better simply because they have to put in very heavy wiring in order to use 12 volts. And if they don't put in enough wiring, then they're not going to heat up very fast. So they're kind of a low watt. I think this is only 350 watt, where these 110 units will run up to like 700 watts. So these are really slow. They do work. And if you have plenty of time, you can put burritos and whatever meal you want in one of these lunchbox cookers, ovens, and they do work fine. But just remember, they're kind of low watt because they are 12 volt. Another one that you can get, and you can get all kinds of these 12 volt appliances. This is a 12 volt water heater for making. It has enough in there for like 2 or 3 cups of coffee or water, or for making hot water for cereal or for baby formula, something like that. You can get these, again, you can get these on Amazon. This is a 12-volt water heater. It has a coil in the bottom of it that heats the water. Again, because it's 12 volt, and these do have a 12 volt plug that plugs right into the Generark. The Generark does have a 12 volt outlet over here, so I could plug this in right here. And I could be running this and heating my water up while I'm cooking my meal if I wanted to. My experience is they work for a while, and then they'll just suddenly kind of burn out on you. So, you know, they might be good for an emergency, but I don't know that I would count on one for regular use all the time. For something that's regular use, you might want to go with a better unit that is a 110 unit instead of the 12 volt units, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But they do work. So I can hear the sandwich. I can hear the sandwich sizzling. We'll see how long it takes before it shuts off. Okay, so I cooked a sandwich in here, but be aware that I thought this had an automatic shut off, and it doesn't, and it started smoking, and I thought it burned my sandwich, but it didn't burn the sandwich. It actually looks pretty good, but it did start smoking. And it's nice, and the bread is nice and crispy now, and that cheese is all nice and melted. And you can see, if I had regular bread, you can see that it makes those nice lines and makes it nice and fancy, and also has the grill marks on it, and it also puts a center mark so you can cut it in half. So, you know, because we all like our sandwiches cut from the corners, so you can do that with your sandwiches. But that worked really well. Cooked in less than 5 minutes. Again, used about 650 watts off the Generark. Used about 5% of the power, so about the same as the George Foreman grill. And you could cook up 2 sandwiches like this. This will be really nice, and how I will probably use it. I will take this along in my Vardo camper, and for cooking sandwiches, when I don't want to start up the wood stove, and I don't want to run my barbecue, maybe I'm in an area where I just don't want to have an open fire or anything like that, this will be really handy running off the Generark. No propane needed, and no starting a fire needed, and I could cook a meal. And the whole point of this exercise was to show you that you can cook with one of these Generark units. So they would be great for a blackout emergency around your house. If you, for some reason, if your house is all electric and you have an electric stove, and it doesn't work because you got a blackout power situation going on, you can cook with these small appliances, and you can still make a meal and still keep your family fed. And also excellent for if you're camping, or for a guy that's working. If you're working, like a lot of times I go out on remote sites and I'm doing work or something like that. I'm using the Generark to run my power tools, and then it comes lunchtime, I can slap some meat between some slices of bread and make me up a meal for lunch while I'm out in the field working. Don't have to run a gas generator. Don't have to take a big stinky gas generator along, fill up full of fuel, take a tank full of fuel and stuff. Just take one of these along, and it handles both my tools and my cooking. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to eat my sandwich now for lunch, and share some of it with Tazzy. Oh, I am going to put the links for this equipment, for the Generark, and I'll put the links for these other cooking equipment are in the comments. So if you want to go look up one of these appliances or get you a Generark and some solar panels, you can do that. All right, folks, have a great day.